My name is Darren Prescott, and I was the second unit director for John Wick 2. I'm going to do a one-scene breakdown of the opening car chase where John Wick comes back to get his car and takes out a bunch of assassins. So this shot, Keanu's a great driver, probably the best actor-driver in the business. But this particular shot, a lot of times if we're not tying the actor into the exterior driving, there's actually a thing that sits on the top of the car like this, and Robert Nagel drives from up here and steers the car all through. So we went all through the warehouse, outside the warehouse, around the parking lot with Nagel on top driving, so everybody's safe, so Keanu didn't have to worry about it. This garage, this warehouse actually had a proper ramp here, but it wasn't quite enough to get the lift we wanted. So we brought in steel plates and laid them out like this and welded them together to make a steeper jump. This area here is just a little bit wider than the actual car. And to make this shot work, the car had to be sideways or in a drift as it's going up the ramp, coupled with the fact that the floor was wet and snotty, so his traction was horrible. So when he went to take off, he got a ton of wheel spin. So this is the reverse of that jump shot. The steel ramp is on the other side here. It doesn't look that narrow from here, but it's amazing how tight this distance here was. We also had edge arm is out here, which is basically a Mercedes with a camera arm on the top, a crane like this, and it's got a camera here like this. So not only is he trying to figure out how to drift through this small space, and when he lands, we want to keep the drift going and keep the car running, but he also can't slam into this car. I think we had 2 stunt cars, a pod car, and then I think we had a hero car, which are always useless to us because they tell us we can't touch the hero car. The very first take we did of this, we hit the side of the warehouse here and crushed one of the Mustangs on the very first take. It fell into that category of risk versus reward, so we decided that the shot was going to be so cool. We did this, I want to say this was like 7 or 8 takes to get this shot, and the car every time would die, and I think at one point it no longer had reverse, so we'd have to pull it in and then push him back to get enough space to start. It was such a cool moment on set because when we finally got this shot, everybody was so invested. It was like we won the Super Bowl. It was really, really cool. Yeah, this taxi's basically, it's straightforward jump, stuntman just hitting a small jump and launching this car. The funny thing is you can see like this taxi hasn't been in any crashes yet, but it's already missing this. It's all smashed here because we probably shot something first before we did this jump and then repurposed this taxi, and the shot was fast enough that nobody really notices. The idea behind this, we labeled it the car gangbang. The plate trailer is basically, you're trying to shoot the background plate of this shot, right? So you have the hood of the car out here. You come in one day and you frame up on Keanu and say this is your frame, right? And you write down the lens size, whatever it is, and the height from the hood of the car, where he is from the window, the whole deal. And then you recreate this on a trailer at the same exact height. So, you know, if this is 2 feet and this is whatever, a foot, and you're on a, I don't know, say you're on a 40 mil, you put this on a trailer in the exact same spot. So you've got your trailer here like this. Then you mount the camera on it here in this, recreating this exact position. And then you smash into the trailer on location. So it gives you all the background that you need on the practical location. Then you go on green screen, you put a green screen all back here, you put your lead actor in the car, and then we'll ratchet the car, meaning we'll put the actual hero car, the Mustang, on green screen, we tie a cable to it, and we'll give it a little bit of a pull so that it helps motivate the actor as if he got hit. And then they just put the 2 pieces together, they comp them together, and you end up with something like that. This is just a practical in-camera shot. This is Keanu actually driving back and slamming into a car. Keanu had a bunch of driver training. He had a ton on the first wick and he had a bunch on the second wick, and he's really good on a motorcycle. And for him, this is a simple shot. The first take we did of this, Keanu drove. We just didn't get the action out of the bike and the dummy that we were hoping for. This is a dummy now. There was an arm off the front of the car like this that went back to the motorcycle and towed the motorcycle here. The dummy's mounted to it, and because these dummies are actual size and weight of human, they're like 5'10", 175 pounds. The weight of this dummy helped it look a lot more authentic. There's also a thing called a cannon mounted to the motorcycle because we wanted the motorcycle to flip, which is basically a cylinder with a pipe in it, and they put an explosive in it. And when we get to a certain speed, they hit a button which fires the explosive, which drives the cannon down into the ground and flips the motorcycle. So we put a little bit of plexiglass in here to protect Keanu. We put the dummy on like a 8-foot cable tethered to the bike, because when we did this in testing, the dummy flew like way out here. The bike went over, but the dummy just got launched because he's on the end like a pea on a spoon. This is probably sparks from the cannon. That right there, it's the hole where the cannon pipe comes out of. It's a practical bike, it's a practical dummy, and then we just CG'd a little bit of movement on the dummy. You see this shot here, that camera was here, so that's a VFX removal on that camera for this overhead shot. This car obviously is here. A lot of times we don't have the resources to test something like this, and you can't just smash cars to see. So a lot of it is us just dipping into our experience and saying, okay, if we back this car up this far and we hit it at 30, we should get enough decel before he hits the immovable object. But yeah, see how far this car is? It starts here on that line, and it's moving, you know, this is that line back here. So it's moving 10 feet of decel, plus the crushing of the car. So we try to mitigate the amount of damage. So this is Keanu actually doing the impact into that car. You'll also see that he doesn't wrap his thumbs around the steering wheel. That's a veteran stunt move right there, because you wrap your thumbs around the steering wheel and hit anything and your body goes forward, it breaks both your thumbs. So guys will keep their thumbs on the outside of the steering wheel so your hands just come off the wheel. The way this gag originally was laid out was he's on a wire being pulled. I think it's probably here, and it goes around his back and goes up to a post, so we get a little bit of a twist. It might be more here on his back. This post was actually a foam built post. See how thick it is here? They built this and added a foam side to it. Keanu comes in, if we have him for 2 hours, he's working for 4. If we have him for 4 hours, he's working for 6. You know, when you get somebody who trains that hard and who's willing to go into the choreography that deep, it allows you to sit in beautiful wide frames like this. You couldn't do that with an actor who didn't train like this. That's textbook judo right there from Keanu. Jackson Spadel's been doubling Keanu for all the fight stuff on both John Wicks. He just a little bit, he lifts his leg up and just gets his hip up on the car. So this guy, I think he was like a Russian Sambo champion or something. This is Jackson. He picked up Jackson like he weighed 20 pounds. There's no wire on this or anything, and just dumps him to the ground. Oof. You move considerably faster whenever we can employ VFX blood hits, as long as you have a good VFX guy. They end up adding muzzle flash, they end up adding, you know, the gun cycling, the shells ejecting, things like that through a lot of John Wick.